So how many people out there during this episode were thinking, you're not going to get me again. You're not going to get me again. Just got done with the 18th episode of To Your Eternity. This is my thoughts on the episode. So yeah, it really does feel like we're wrapping things up, sort of coming up to the big climax of this island arc, or so it seems. But yeah, we pretty much open up things. Tanari is trying to free Fushi, but obviously Fushi has already escaped. Not really much of a shocker there. Yeah, we have this little moment where he's, of course, obviously trying to find out why she came back, and he's like, well, I did this all to save you, and then obviously flusters her. But as they can't leave quite yet because there's a storm coming in, they have this little moment where they're in this cave, and they're just kind of talking about things, including the knockers, the beholder himself, or the man in black, and really trying to kind of suss out their thoughts on what's going on. And it seems like Tanari's really kind of pushing the idea that beholder might be some sort of god, obviously sent here to have Fushi preserve things, because what she thinks, something's going to be happening, obviously. So this beholder is seemingly a good guy in her eyes because of that. And this is kind of an interesting moment here, because I didn't really think that Tanari had a very positive look on gods. Because obviously it does point out the fact that her father was charged for the murder of his mother, or her mother, and it was the church that came and got him. So usually with that kind of storyline, they usually, because the church evil, usually the gods that they worship are usually evil. But no, she really kind of sees it differently. She does see that, that there is this god, and that they obviously want to help the people. They fight back the evil. And then, of course, she brings up the idea of the demons. This was weird because she points out that the knockers, she says that the knockers were there as God's beings in order to kill the demons. Which that doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure where she came to that conclusion that the knockers would be, in a sense, good guys. But she has to explain demons as being basically people that are evil. And that's when it gets into her thoughts on the people of the island, including her father. And this is where we kind of find out that she actually truly believes that her father did kill her mother, and that he was a demon. And just based on the idea of how he laughed the moment that she's seen him in the arena. And this is where she does reveal to Fushi that she does, again, believe that her father did it, and that her father did kill all these people in the arena. And of course, he tries to lay it out that, he did it because he wanted to get you off the island, right? And she's like, no, I don't believe that. It seems like she really does push in. And again, this is kind of one of those moments where I'm kind of struggling with Tanari as a character. Is like, out of nowhere, suddenly she's very negative of the island. She's very negative of all the people of the island. Obviously, there's bad people there. But even at the point in which they are going to leave and the beholder shows up and says, hey, the knocker's here, she's like, no, leave them. They're all demon blood. They're all bad people. Most of them are criminals. And those that are not criminals are just blood of criminals. And again, this is where it's kind of like, I don't get Tanari at this point. She's very... Again, it could just be a selfish thing. Like she does acknowledge that if she pushes Fushi will leave, and maybe that's all. But it kind of comes into play along with what she said in the cave, that she does believe the people there are kind of just as bad as a criminal. They're all blood of the demons. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. She confuses me. But yeah, of course, that's when we find out that along with Hayase are finding out that the knockers are essentially fusing with the corpses of this island. Like, there's this big pit of corpses, and they're fusing with them and making zombies, basically. And not only that, but later on we'll find out they're even now able to inject themselves into living people and controlling them. So now, pretty much Fushi is no longer having to just deal with one morphing being. Now he's dealing with everybody. Every single body is a weapon to him. But yeah, they fight for a while. We kind of find out that pretty much all of Tanari's friends end up coming back to help her, and now it's just all out fight. They have to kill the cores, and then at some point, yes, Uba ends up being controlled by the knocker, and the knocker kills Mia, or at least stabs her. And it's kind of an unfortunate moment here because they flee, obviously, and they're trying to figure out how they can help Mia. She's been basically impaled. They don't know really what to do. They ask Fushi to create something. He creates a bunch of stuff, but nothing to remedy this. And they're like, anything else you can create? You could do so many things. Can you not just heal her? And he's like, I can't do anything. And I've never been able to save the ones that I want to save. Like, this is like a really sad moment where he can do all of this stuff. He can turn into people. He can mimic people. He can create things out of nothing, but the one thing he wants to do, he can't do, and that is to heal somebody to save a life. And that's really a sad, like a very brief moment, but like really sad moment for Fushi, coming to grips with that basically. But yeah, as he's really upset about this, he leaves them to go confront Uba, who's still controlled. They're like, no, you can't kill her. And he's like, no, Uba's already dead at this point. And he even still then can't strike at her. So as he's not able to strike her, he's then kind of consumed by a whole bunch of tentacles, takes out the form of Perone. So obviously, it seems like at this point, he's pretty much lost Perone. I think that he lost his original Fushi form, because when it attacked him at some point, he jumped and changed into Gugu. So I'm not sure if he dropped the form before then, or he just, dislodged his leg, or if he possibly lost Fushi at that point. Or the boy, whatever you want to call it. I just call him Fushi, the boy. As he's calling for them to flee, again, this is the point which we lose another person. Uroi ends up, while they're trying to take Mia out of there, gets grabbed by something. He tells Tonari and Sandal to run, and that's when he cuts off his arm, grabs Fushi as a mole, and then chucks him, and then we see Uroi pretty much being overtaken. So at this point, we pretty much lost everybody except for Tonari and Sandaru, and I guess Ligard the owl, if you care about the owl. But yeah, things are going downhill, and I think it's all pretty much in response to Tonari's wish for a future. I mean, we should know at this point, if you talk about future, you're dead. And there's no talking about futures in this show. That's just something you don't do. And Tonari decided to flag everybody by having this big dream of everybody being on some really cool remote island, all together, all happy. And yeah, the writer heard that. I am starting to think the writer has some kind of tongue fetish. I really do at this point think that the writer has. And it's weird because, again, this is the same writer that did A Silent Voice. And I'm guessing during the A Silent Voice, they were just kind of clamoring, I wish I could make one of these characters have some enormous tongue and do something really creepy. I need a creepy character in this story. So when they made this series, we're just going crazy with it. Every single thing that is evil has to have some crazy looking tongue. So we have Ayase with the tongue action. We have all these zombies all have tongues. Even poor Uba has to have some creepy tongue going on. So yeah, there you go. Congratulations, you got your tongue fetish out of the way. We're all happy for you. So I did do some research. No spoilers here, by the way. I'm not saying any spoilers here. I did look at the manga to find out where I was at. And I was not as far as I thought I was. So just to give people a heads up on, and this is going to be soft spoilers if you don't want to know if this will end the story or not. I guess that's the important thing to know here. So if you're okay with knowing how far into the manga we are, continue listening or watching. But yes, I found out where I was at, and then I went forward until I found out where we're at with this. We are exactly at the end of chapter 49. And to give you an idea if this will finish the manga story or not, there's around 150 chapters currently. So we are not gonna see the end of this show or the end of this story. This will literally be a third of what is currently out. So that is unfortunate. Not really unfortunate, because I do want a full adaptation. There's nothing to say they won't have another season of this. I'm curious. Being that it's 2 core does really make me wonder if it's something they want to continue on. Because usually with something like this, where they just want to, advertise something, a single core is enough. So the fact they did 2 cores is kind of interesting. Maybe the idea that the writer has such a known name, being that Silent Voice did so well, maybe they want to do the same thing with this as they did with Silent Voice. Like, okay, let's just keep continuing on with this. I will say I hope that they have another core at least, because similar to the manga, I don't like this arc. I really don't like this island arc. Again, as I've mentioned before, for those who have not watched my previous videos, this arc was the reason why I stopped reading the manga. And I'm not having fun with this arc either. This is not her best work. This is not this writer's best work. And so I kind of wish it, and based on the fact that in the intro, there's one character I've never seen before. There's one character in the intro that I've never seen before. So I thought that we would get at least one more arc. We only have 2 more episodes to work with. It's probably going to finish this arc with these next 2 episodes. And I don't know if we'll see this other character that's in the intro. but maybe that character being in the intro is a sign that they will continue on with the story. Maybe this intro, which they've used for 2 cores, might go into another core. But we'll see. But as it stands now, yeah, it looks like Hayase is probably gonna, I don't know, fetish over Fushi as he's struggling to watch all of his friends die, and at some point, I don't know, she'll probably lick his face again and be diabolical, and he'll have to kill the core inside the corpses' bodies. I don't know, I kind of see Hayase probably being the one that will kill the knocker this time, and it probably be a fight between Fushi and Hayase in the end. Because I don't necessarily see Hayase standing aside, and I kind of see her just using the situation to manipulate him, but I don't see the knocker standing by. So I'm thinking she'll probably have to kill the knocker, and then it'll be a fight between Fushi and Hayase, and hopefully he kills her, and then we can... It is one of those things where I kind of hope that Hayase dies in this arc. That might make me want to read the manga beyond here, but if Hayase lives to this arc, I don't know that I want to get into the manga. I mentioned earlier in the season, I'm hoping this will re-spark my love for the series, but like I said, it was all predicated on the idea that they would adapt this arc right here to my enjoyment, and like I said, I don't feel any different with the adaptation than I do with the original manga when I read through it. And so I need something, hopefully something will pop up that makes me go, okay, cool, I can see where they can go from here. Maybe a twist at the end of this particular adaptation, somewhere in the 19th or 20th episode, we'll have a twist in the story that will make it kind of refresh it or make something new added to it. But as it stands now, nothing's really grabbing me, so I'm hoping something happens. But that's my thoughts on episode 18 of To Your Eternity. Hope you guys enjoyed my impressions. If you did, leave a like down below, comment, let me know what you thought of the series. Are you from the manga? Are you having the same feeling I am with this arc? Are you not from the manga? Are you feeling the same way I am about this arc? I'm curious of the two there. If you read the manga or not, and if this particular arc is good for you, or are you feeling that fatigue like I am with the story? But yeah, let me know. As always, subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you can. Support us on Patreon if you can, and y'all take care.